Welcome to Dakota Starry Nights and my new home on the range. Well, fellas, tonight we got one for you that maybe you've been thinking about. Night vision, whether it's worth the money, you know, getting something like that, because they are kind of spendy. And if you've got like a 8-inch or a 10-inch Dob or a frac, you might be thinking, well, you know, should I put down the big bucks for that 16 or even 18-inch? Well, tonight what we're going to do is try to answer that question for you. Now, I've got a 6-inch refractor and a 16-inch UL16 Dob. And what we're going to be doing is putting night vision in the 6-inch refractor and then using the Dob without night vision to see whether it's actually worth the upgrade to go to a 16 versus just getting a PBS 14 night vision binocular and sticking it on the optics that you already have. You know, because it's a lot easier to assemble a refractor. A 6-inch, there's no collimation really and nothing. You just put it on your mount and you go. And the Dob will run you about what you'd pay for that PBS 14. Now, they're not cheap, but considering that it's so small, and what it'll do is keep your platform light. Because, you know, as we all get older, you start thinking about weight and convenience and, you know, hassle. My experience has been pretty good with it, but I've never done this comparison. And, you know, we're talking 10 inches of aperture here. Now, the Dob is running at f4.5 and the frac is running at f6. It's a Starwave 152 and it has a focal length of 900 millimeters. And the Dob has a focal length of 1829 millimeters. So between the faster optics of the Dob and the clear aperture and shorter focal length of the frac, they're kind of balanced somewhat. But the point is, if you've got a 6-inch refractor and it's running around, you know, 1,000 millimeters or less, and then this might be a good comparison. That Dob at 4.5 is pretty fast. It's about as fast as they come. I mean, unless you get like something really super special. What do you say we get over there straight away and check it out? Oh, wait a minute. Honey, you want to turn off the light? No, not that one. Yeah, the big switch. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's better. Thank you, dear. All right. Yeah, well, much better now. I guess I don't need these sunglasses anymore. Oh, cool. Look at that. And I can see Jupiter. Wow. Great. So, I'll tell you what. Let's head over to the scopes now. Now, thanks to the missus, we got a little darker out here. And we'll check it out, and I'll show you what we got. And we'll go check it out. What do you say? All right. We're having fun out here, baby. I'll tell you what. Let's do this. All right, here we are. We've got the 16-inch Dobsonian ultralight Hubble optics. And we have the 152 6-inch refractor Starwave. And right in the middle there, fellas, that is Jupiter rising over the butte there. So it's not quite dark yet, but I wanted you to take a look at the layout on how we have these two together. And this is category 3 out here, straight up. It's pretty decent. We're certainly going to be able to get some results out here. Sun's going down, but not quite dark yet. We'll be back as soon as it's dark enough. All right, folks, for our first target, we're going to go to Cygnus. Like I said, these targets that I'm going to are targets that you should be familiar with, so that it'll give you, you know, some kind of reference on what it would look like in terms of your experience. So Cygnus right now is pretty much at zenith. So let's start out with one of my favorites, IC 1318b, the Butterfly Nebula. I'm sure you've seen it before. And the point of this is not to, you know, give you a big, great tour of the night sky, but it's comparing the PVS 14 on a 6-inch refractor as compared to a 16-inch Dobsonian, which is right over there, without the PVS-14. So let's get to it. This mount here is not go-to. You know, one of those with slow motion controls, so this is going to have to be pointed manually. Makes it a little bit harder. And low as the dickens. So, yeah, we're down on the ground now. I wouldn't want to be doing this during the daytime. Them rattlers will probably put up by now because it's on the cool side right now. Alright, just saw a meteor or a satellite. By golly, I got it, fellas. Whew. Yep, it's there. It's way prettier than that 80 on that other video. You need to be a little bit of a contortionist to work this one. Alright, there it is. It's pretty sweet. Let's get the camera out, or the cell phone. Alright, there it is. So that's not too shabby. But I got to tell you guys, it looks really, really good. I mean, I'm not so sure the cell phone is showing it up as good as it really is. So the shutter speed is 1/30th of a second. White balance is 10K. I found here later that works really good with this PVS-14. ISO is at 3200, and exposure value compensation is minus 2.0. Gonna move it around a little bit. Try to get it the best I can. Okay, so that is the 55 Plössl millimeter. It gives it 16 power, and the field of view is 3.06 degrees with an exit pupil of 9.29 millimeters. Pretty cool, man. I'll tell you, I just love a refractor. They're just so crisp. Okay, with that, let's head over to the North American Nebula, which is pretty close. It's right by Denham. So it should just be right over there, and I could see it easy enough. Keep losing this bear spray I got here. I was out here with a buddy of mine last summer, and we heard a mountain lion, and hell, it wasn't but about, if you had a baseball and threw it, you know, not as hard as you can, but, you know, gave it a good throw, that's about where it was. And it was wicked. It sounded like it sounded like an alien, to tell you the truth. But anyway, let's see where we're at here. Wow, looks really nice. Yeah. So there it is, the North American Nebula. You can see that Cygnus wall. And that looks pretty good to me, fellas. I don't know what the 16-inch Dob's going to do, but I'll tell you what, this frac with this PVS-14 is setting a pretty high bar, I think. So, yeah, pretty cool. Okay, what's another one we can look at that you guys should be familiar with? Let's see. Got to look up there and see what's familiar. If we could get to the dumbbell, that would be nice. So let's get to the dumbbell. Well, I'm going to have to shut the light off, guys. I can't really see the sky to get my reference stars, so when I get on the dumbbell, I'll turn the camera back on. See you in a bit. Okay, guys, I got it, and it was a bear. I got to tell you, it was a bear. But I used Altair. It's just above M71, the globler. Anyway, we got it. So, okay, there you go. So you can see the the bow tie or the apple core or the dumbbell. It's got all kinds of names. I guess it really depends on how many beers you had. But there it is, fellas. And once again, the ISO is 3200. The shutter speed is 1/30th. The exposure value compensation is -2.0. Manual focus and white balance is at 10K. I'm going to get it more towards the center. All right. So now when you go to focus, guys, I found it's better that if you zoom in, you know, and then focus it manually, you get a better job that way. But there it is. That's the dumbbell, and you could definitely see the bow tie. Now it's kind of breaking up in the video a little bit here. Definitely looks better through the eyepiece, but that should give you an idea on what this PVS 14 will do on a 6. All right, cool. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I want to do one more with you on this frac, and I'm thinking that we could go to M13 and Hercules, the glob, and then I think that would probably be, you know, a pretty good representation on what we can do with this. So, over to Hercules. Okay, fellas, I'm on the Keystone, glob, Hercules M13. Is a lot easier, man. I probably grabbed it in under a minute because it's just not so high up, so it makes it a lot easier. Those other targets were with a hydrogen alpha filter, 7 nanometer. So we're still using the PVS 14, but I removed the 7 nanometer. And holy smokes. Okay, so there it is there. And let's, boy, what a difference not having that hydrogen alpha filter on there. I'm going to need to speed this shutter speed up because we're getting the core blown out. Let's go to about there. Maybe even drop that ISO. Yeah. Okay, now we can maybe slow the shutter speed down. Yeah, that looks like a much better combination. Okay, so what I got here is a ISO 500, shutter speed 1/30th of a second, manual focus, white balance is at 10K. And you can definitely see, I'm going to try to move it here with these slow-mos. Get the right ascension going. Whoops. There, that's cool. Yeah, that's nice. That's sweet. Okay, love it. Yeah, right there. You can definitely see the stars. It doesn't look like a faint fuzzy, and it is in pretty good focus, it looks like to me. So yeah, so that's M13, fellas. And when you get on these targets with your phone, you know, don't be afraid to adjust the ISO and the shutter speed, because the ISO, if you noticed before, I'll show you. It's at 500 now, but I'm going to increase it. And see what happens is it starts to get pixelated. It blows out. So if you slow it down, okay, then you can get more detail. And then, of course, you try to run your ISO as low as you can get away with in order to decrease the noise, and then work your shutter speed in order to get the proper exposure, or the best you can. Okay, so cool. So let's move over to the Dob, and we will check out these targets without night vision in a 16 inches of aperture. All right. Okay, guys, I'm on Hercules right now with this Plossl. And because this is not night vision, I got to shut this light or I can't see hardly anything. Besides, it's going down in my bucket. So I'm going to film it the best I can, but I got to tell you, it's pretty dim compared to that PVS 14. But anyway, just wanted to show you that I'm on it. So let me cut this off. Okay, now I don't know if you could see me, hello, but we're going to try to film it. I don't even know if we're going to be able to see anything. Get the ISO bumped way up, 3200. Shutter speed, that's as slow as it'll go for video. Okay, and let's see, we're going to see anything. I don't think we're going to see anything. It's just not enough for the camera to pick it up. You know, I'm getting 2 stars there, but that's about it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to take a still image of it. Okay, I'm going to stop the video because this is like a waste, really. All right, fellas, I got a little bit of luck this evening. I was able to get my G12 up and running. Apparently, the cell phone can't really bring in the very dim light that is offered up by the 16 without night vision. The G12 with a Panoptic 35mm is a perfect fit for this lens, and I was able to get a pretty good representation of what it kind of looks like without night vision. So I'm pretty happy about that. I was on IC1318 SETAR, the butterfly, and that's what I got with the camera. We're going to go to the dumbbell now. It's right now, it's pointed towards the dumbbell. That's south down there. Now that I've got the dumbbell in here, to show you compared to the night vision. Taking a break here. It's kind of been a long night, switching around from cell phone to cameras. I even had an ASI 174 ZWO. I was trying that out. So I thought this would be a good time to pause and go over some of the experiences that I'm finding. And there is a difference, definitely, between the PVS-14 and the Dob. That's obvious. To say one is better than the other, I'm not so sure that would be a fair assumption. Tonight I was looking at the Veil, which we didn't look at with the 152 Starwave. And I was looking at the Veil with this Dob through a 1000 Oaks LP2 filter and a 35mm Panoptic. Out here in this category 3. It was amazing. The contrast was just beautiful, and it's not night vision or anything. And you were able to see the broom handle in NGC 6960, the Western, and also the Sage or the broom itself in the back. And it was just beautiful with Signa 52 right in the middle. And then right over to it, you have the broom handle. Right over here is Fleming's triangular wisp was there, and then going further out to the other side of the explosion, because that's what it was, you know, these two things arc like this. And so over here you have the Eastern Veil, and that thing was amazing. I've seen it lots of times before, but with the 1000 Oak filter and the 16 inches of aperture, and believe it or not, I've never looked at it before with that 1000 Oaks, because I've got so used to the PVS-14 that I forgot that I had that 1000 Oaks, and it was really the first time I actually used it with the 16. And what I found was that normally it would be about this long, and you have what I call like the head, and then there's like the arc part that trails outward like this, and there's that head part. Well, with that 1000 Oak filter, it extended further down than I have ever noticed it before. And then I took the filter off, and it wasn't as pronounced, or didn't have the contrast that 1000 Oak offered. So if you got a lot of aperture, that sucker is worth the money, I gotta tell you. That thing was pretty amazing. It really rocked. And I had it on the M27, the dumbbell, and again, it was amazing. But the Veil, though, was just really, really great. You know, really, really great. Now, you don't get that kind of experience when you use a PVS-14. You do see it, and you see maybe more, but there's something about that visual, calm, I don't know, natural, shall we say, experience about using the Dob with a filter like that. That was truly special. So, the long story short, if you really like delicious
views of these deep sky objects, then yeah, you want to go with a 16-inch. The ideal situation, you get the Dob, and then when you're ready for a more aperture, like maybe you're thinking 24 or something, just get the PVS 14, because then you'll have the best of both worlds. Hey honey, you want to turn that light back on? Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Well, let's wrap this up. I want to thank you guys for tuning into the channel. We really appreciate it, and subscribing. It helps keep the the channel moving forward. And if you get a chance, get out in these clear skies. It's just a wonderful experience, and I hope you found this information here we presented useful. Until next time, thanks for tuning in to Dakota Starry Nights, and hey, y'all stay safe.